Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and today a slightly different type of video because I am once again with the very lovely Barry Stevens. Hello Barry.
Hello.
You may remember that we had a look at Odium Castle and we also went along the Basingstoke Canal.
We did.
And we had a fantastic time. Now, Barry has a very interesting hobby that relates to heritage, landscape and nature, I guess, in a small way.
Yes, I get to see lovely parts of nature.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so you are a metal detectorist.
I am metal detectorist. Yep.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting because I know that metal detecting can get a bad name in certain circles, or that it's bad metal detectors, I suppose, that get the hobby a bad name.
Their nickname is known as night hawkers. They're people who come in the night where they can't be seen onto a very historic area, normally maybe a National Trust or English Heritage area, and they'll dig at night and steal the treasure that they can find and take it away and sell it on the black market. But they're normally the kind that give us kinds a bad name.
And you're not one of those?
No, I'm definitely not one of those. No.
Well, that's brilliant. So now, how long have you been metal detecting? Because I remember when I was a kid, I went with my dad. He used to do it, and all we found was silver paper,
which you do find a lot of.
Oh, dear.
I like to call it dirt fishing, because you keep pulling out the little tiddlers, and then every now and again, when you least expect it, you bring out something of interest. And
right,
yeah.
okay. So how long have you been?
I've probably been doing it now for nearly 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Coming up to 4 years, I would imagine.
And I imagine that the metal detectors, there must be as I remember, my dad used to have a magazine called Metal Detector, and it was a bit like a car magazine with all the different...
They still exist.
Oh, did
they? Do, yeah. There's a couple of them now.
Oh, right. So some can obviously penetrate the ground better than others and detect the different types of metal, I assume.
They do. They discriminate. They give different tones for different metals.
Oh, okay.
And it'll also tell you the average depth of the object. And sometimes, once you've learnt the machine, you can, by the certain tones and the numbers that come up, you can judge if it's a coin or not. You can get a good likelihood of what it is underneath and what kind of metal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So where do you go to do your metal detecting?
I have some local permissions, one in Winchfield, one in Herriard, and one near Upper Froyle.
These are all in Hampshire, I
These
should
are
say.
all in Hampshire.
Because
they're all Winchfield is probably 3 miles from here.
And we're in Odium.
We are in Odium at the moment,
yeah.
And Herriard, I'd say, is about 4 miles away. But yeah, they're all, some lands are better than other lands. Some lands you get a lot of junk, some you get less junk, some you get nothing. Coke cans, bottle tops.
So you could say you're doing a bit of a service when you
Yes,
when you pick out
one
the
of
rubbish.
the permissions, the deal is he breeds racehorses, and he wants all the iron and junk taken away because it can damage the horse's feet.
Oh, I see.
As long as I take away all my junk,
yes,
he's happy to have me as long as I fill the holes in correctly. And
yes,
and he's not interested in what I find as long as I take away the horrible junk. But I have shown him some of the things that I have found,
and that must impress him a bit.
He's not that
not interested.
Not really
not
interested
at all.
No.
Fair enough. Well, we are, and I know you have brought with you some of your finds.
These are more local to here.
Right. Yeah. So I'm always intrigued what people dig out of the ground, because, as I said before, silver paper seemed to be the thing that came up all the time. Occasionally, we'd be lucky if we got a 10-pence piece, or maybe well, back then it was old money, so a threepenny bit.
Yes, still find them.
Do you?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So now you brought some stuff along. Let's have a look and see what you've got.
This is an early medieval thimble, which is called a beehive.
A beehive
thimble.
Right.
It looks a little bit like a beehive, and they put them on their fingers.
Yes.
Because in them days they used to work with hay. They didn't have antibiotics in them days, and if you got a piece of hay underneath your nail, and it got infected, you could lose your finger or hand. So they used to wear these.
Yes, absolutely. And these are not machine made, are they?
No, these are handmade.
Yeah.
These should be handmade and pressed.
Wow. That's fascinating. Gosh. Yeah. Okay.
This is probably my oldest find in the local area. It's of Celtic age. probably over 2,000 years old. It's off of a armour, a mount off of armour, and it's got one of their deities or gods, whatever you'd like to call it, on.
He's an ugly bugger, isn't he?
He is. You look at angry looking bugger.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm not sure what metal that's made out of, but I've been told by some certain archaeologists that it's a mount off of their armour.
Right, because it does look a bit like a signet ring or something.
It does look like a ring, but apparently it's not.
It's
Yeah,
not.
They've
No.
told me it's not. It
Wow.
fits on your finger like a ring.
What date is that from?
I couldn't really date it, but it's definitely over 2,000 years old.
Oh wow!
So-
Oh yeah, gosh.
Yeah, that's probably the oldest thing that I've found in the local
oldest-
area.
Gosh.
This is a Saxon stirrup ring.
A stirrup.
Stirrup ring. I
What
think
is
that's
stirrup?
what I think
Yeah.
that's what they call it. Something to do with a horse,
Right.
riding a horse. But the would have had a stone, a precious stone in it
Yes.
that's fallen out.
Oh, that's a shame. You didn't
Yeah.
find the stone.
No.
No.
I didn't. I was so excited to find it. I walked away and then I thought, oh, maybe
Oh.
I should have looked for it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
there you go. Yeah,
Gosh.
it's from Saxon times. And this is a Roman ring with what is a pentagram carved into it. And apparently the star would represent their god Mars, which was a
Right.
god of war.
Yes.
So possibly, I've been told that these were worn by Roman soldiers.
So centurions.
Centurions. So we've only got the A30, which is the London road the Romans built just behind us,
Yes.
about a mile away. So perhaps a wandering soldier
Wow.
lost it there.
And when you and it's interesting because if you put that against your finger, it's interesting to see. So it goes on your finger pretty easily.
yeah,
So I mean, we're talking what, nearly 1800
about
years.
1800 years ago. I
Yeah,
imagine
people-
they came here. Yeah,
Because I know that they used to say that people were much smaller and thinner and
Yes,
stuff.
they
But
were. Yeah.
that bloke
yeah,
was probably a well-built chap.
yeah. I mean, this was bent when I found it. I put it on and it slowly bent to my finger. But,
Oh, I see.
yeah,
Oh, fair
I do
enough.
wear that sometimes.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Why not?
Pardon?
Why not?
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean,
You have allegiance with the Legion,
I do. Yeah.
so to speak.
And this is a silver hammered coin of King James I. It's a shilling.
A shilling.
Yeah.
King James the First. So we're going back to 1604. He was on the throne, wasn't it?
Yes. There is a date on here, but I've forgotten the exact date, and it's a bit worn.
Right. But what you showed these to me before we were filming, and what came across is how lightweight
Light
they are.
Yes.
So you could carry quite a lot of those in
Yes,
your
you could,
little
yeah.
leather pouch.
Yes. And plus, it's probably been worn somewhat as well throughout
Yes.
the years. I mean, he was King of Scotland, so you have some other Roman numerals. He was I'm not sure what number
Oh,
that
the
is.
sixth.
Yeah.
Was it the sixth
It
of?
must be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
he would have-
seventh there it says.
Well, yes. So it's King of the seventh King of Scotland of
Right.
James of Scotland.
Yeah, first of
Yes.
England.
Yes. Another hammered coin. This is Queen Elizabeth I.
So these are minted, aren't they? They're minted in
No,
little.
these are hammered.
Oh, hammered.
There's a difference between hammered and minted. Were machine
Oh,
pressed.
I see.
These were literally hammered. They would have like a metal, I don't know what you'd call it, punch
Like a.
with the image on it.
Yes.
And they would hammer it quickly with a
Oh,
hammer.
I see, like a
and then-
stencil.
like a stencil, and then hammer it in, and then hammer the image in.
And of course, these stencils or whatever they're properly called would obviously be licensed to certain people.
Yes.
Otherwise, anybody could.
Yes, of course. And there was you do find forgeries. People used to forge money.
Yeah.
They would have non-precious metals, make them, and then dip them in silver. So
Oh,
they're
to
only
make-
only silver plated.
Right.
And then used them as a proper silver coin.
Yeah.
And,
And by the time people had found out, they'd
death-
long gone.
and often death was the punishment for.
Well,
things
I know
like
if
that.
you clipped the coins and got caught, that was
Yes,
punishment.
they did used to do that. I have found quarter coins. I found a quarter of a King John.
Oh, right.
And basically, it's if you had a pound coin, they'd
Yes.
cut it in half and it would be worth 50p.
50p.
Yes, that's how they looked
Heavens. And this is is this the final one?
at it. No, there's
Oh,
one
no,
more
there's
after
two
it.
more.
This is
This
a
is
Roman coin of
a Roman-
Constantine.
And that's about the size of a 1p piece, but incredibly much more thin.
Yes. It
It-
seems to have like a gate.
It's like a portcullis that you have on a penny, isn't it?
Yes.
Or something like
Yes.
that. With Emperor Constantine
Yes.
on the Gosh, look at that. That's really old as well.
It is.
That's the only Roman coin you found?
I found other Roman coins,
Yes.
but this was more local, this one.
Yes. Oh wow. Gives you such a connection with history when you dig something out of the ground, and you're the first person to
hold it in their hands.
Hold it
since the last person, our ancestors, all them years ago held it.
Yes. That's incredible, isn't it?
It is, yes.
And finally,
this is a emblem of Simon de Montfort, which is somebody who owned the castle that we recently looked at, Odium Castle. He was a French prince and nobleman, a rebel.
yes.
And him and his only immediate family would be able to wear this emblem. So this would have come from him, or maybe one of his.
And what would it? Is it on the belt?
It's
or
a belt. Yes,
it's
it comes
belt.
off of a belt. Yes.
So he might have had half a dozen of those on the belt.
Yes, they would have been all round the belt, and this
Yes.
one's probably just fallen off
Yes.
as he's been riding or
Could
whatever.
Easily happen.
It could.
Wow.
Yep. So that's probably around 800, 700, 800 years old.
To have something from Simon de Montfort or his immediate family, that is incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Barry. We could look further into that. Obviously, if you're a metal detector, do let us know about your finds and leave a comment. Tell us about it. Of course, there are protocols and things to follow in this day and age. I know people get a little bit
Treasure Act.
nervous about it, so don't just go out and do it willy-nilly. But I'm not qualified to tell you anything about that. But it's fascinating what is in the ground. Do you think there is much more to find?
Yes, people always say, how much more is there to find? We keep finding all of these things, but the ground moves. It's rotated by the farmers, harvested, and it's always being rolled over. When the ground freezes, it moves. The ground moves around. You have worms, you have moles.
Right.
When you hillsides, when the water goes down, it moves things around. So the ground is always moving. So it's always.
And there's still plenty in the ground.
There's still plenty, and they reckon we've only found a fraction.
Gosh.
Of what.
Oh well, maybe I ought to get myself a little metal detector.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Barry.
No problem. Thank you very much.
It's been wonderful. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, become a patron, help me get out and do more interesting things. But in the meantime, run out of time again. It goes so swiftly, and I'll see you on the next one. In the meantime, I'm going to grab those and run down to the nearest pawn shop.
Yeah, one right up the road. I'll buy them back off them.
Yeah, there you go.